I feel emotional because I feel guilty for this. Hi guys, it's Angel here. As you know, I'm not very active in YouTube, but when I come back, it's always a long video. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm currently in London now, and I just turned 30 a few days ago. Actually, it was yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, so 23rd of September. So in conjunction to my 30th birthday, here is 30 things I would say to my younger self. It's okay to make mistakes. We have our good and bad days. I believe that things happen for a reason, and instead of seeing it as a negative thing, always take it as a challenge. There's one quote that I recently keep hearing over and over again. It's this simple quote which says, "A bad day does not equal to a bad life." Don't believe everything you see and read in the internet and on social media. Always keep yourself educated, especially when it comes to health and fitness related topics and weight loss. Having empathy and listening goes a long way. So for example, if I am having a conflict or argument with my husband, I'll try my best to put myself in his shoes and try to be more understanding and imagine that I'm actually talking to myself. How would I talk to myself? How would I react? What would I say? This really helps you to relate to the person and help you to approach the matter in a better way. Be careful with who you accept in your circle of friends. Consistency is progress. Whether it's for a skill, adopting good lifestyle habits, as cliche as it sounds, consistency is key. Learn to gain strength from a bad experience and turn it into something positive. Whatever bad things that happen, learn to embrace it and move on. You can be the most nicest person in the world, but you will still have haters. I wanted everyone to like me, I wanted to be accepted by everyone, but turns out that there are people out there who will not like you. It's not because they don't like you, maybe they just don't vibe with you, or maybe different age gap, so they just tend to like not be as close to you. Do not take offense to that. Not everyone will like you, and it's okay. Do not strive for validation from others. Growing up, I always thought that having a smaller body is better, and if you're fat is bad. So like slim is good, fat is bad. So I always have this like thinking. I have no idea why. I think it's because of society and like how I was brought up. But I believe that you can still be confident without the need to lose weight or gain weight. What matters is how you feel about yourself. Do not strive for validation from other people, but always accept yourself for who you are. No matter how much you try to change your body or try to lose weight, if you do not accept your body for how it is, you will never be happy. So that's the reality of it. Words have power, so be careful with how you speak to yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Speak to yourself with kindness, because it really helps your mental state when you talk more positive things about yourself instead of putting yourself down. Learn to forgive yourself and to forgive people who have hurt you. To be honest, you're actually hurting yourself more when you hold grudges against your enemies. But when you forgive somebody, it really sets your mind free. Imagine you're holding a grudge on these people and they are the one walking freely around with no guilt. They don't feel anything, they're so happy, and then you are over here like being so sour and like so angry. So yeah, learn to forgive. Take care of your body, because it's the only thing that will be with you for your whole life. Love and nurture it. Your body has been there for you through your ups and downs, so learn to appreciate it. I feel emotional because I feel guilty for this, for not taking care of my body, because I've been abusing it for so many years. I didn't love myself enough to take care of it. I always let it break down and get sick. I know I was not taking care of it like 100%. Now I understand my body so much better. Procrastinating is not a sign of laziness. It is a sign that you have too many tasks in your hands that are too difficult, too detailed, and too long and too much. You just shut down. You just don't want to do anything. You want to lie down, you want to sleep, you just don't want to do the task at all. So I used to feel bad for procrastinating because I thought that it was a sign of laziness. But now I've learned a way to counter it by making smaller tasks. I try to break down the task a bit smaller and manageable. So that helps. Motivation does not exist. Most of the time, at least. Instead, you should create habits. Habits help you to stick to a plan better. For example, when it comes to fitness, you cannot wait for motivation to come from the sky and like, oh, this motivation and then let's go. No, it does not work like that. You cannot wait for motivation to get you started when it comes to fitness. Instead, you have to implement little habits. For example, going for a workout once a week maybe, and then slowly build up from there. By doing this, you don't have to rely on motivation to keep you going. So even on your lower days, because of your habits kicking in, it's like you're on auto mode. If you want to try something new, whether it's a new hobby, a new skill, or a job, or maybe you have a crush on someone, just do it without worrying about the what ifs. Because if you never do it, you will never know. And you will never find out the outcome. Okay, this is a very bad habit that I used to have when I was younger. I don't know how to take a compliment. So learn to take a compliment. Learn to say thank you when somebody compliments you. Just be confident and just accept the compliment. Because you deserve it. Life is so precious. You will never know when is your last day. When I started working in Singapore 9 years ago, I've seen so many plane crashes, sudden deaths, and accidents happening around me. So cherish your loved ones and always remember to tell them how much you love them. Stop comparing your success to other people. This can lead to jealousy, and it's definitely not a good feeling to have. You would never know the hustle that person went through in order to get where he or she is at right now. If you're seeing their success through social media, especially through social media, it's just a highlight reel. Everything seems to be doing great for them in your eyes, but behind the scenes, they have worked their asses off. It's definitely not an easy journey for them as well. They probably had to go through a lot of hell in order to get where they are right now. So if you want to be on that level, work hard. Hustle. Don't just envy people from afar. Go out there and work your ass off. Go and do what they're doing maybe, or do what you're passionate in and see where it leads you. When it comes to relationship, communication is key. It is so important. I always emphasize this to my friends. Communication will make or break a relationship. Especially when you're married, never keep your feelings and your thoughts to yourself. Always communicate this to your partner. Confrontation is hard. I know it's very hard. It's a very difficult situation to be put in, and sometimes you can get too emotional, you cannot control yourself. But it's something that needs to be done in order to save a relationship, in order to do well in a relationship. Communication is not me and my partner shouting at each other. That's not communication, that's just overriding each other. Communication is when two of you can just sit down and really have a heart-to-heart talk. No shouting involved, no swearing, no cursing, no pointing fingers at anyone. Just a session where both of you agree to work things out as a pair, instead of like, oh, you need to improve on this, you need to improve on that. How your body looks is the least important thing about you, and it does not define you. You have to unlearn what society has taught you, that having a slim figure or a skinny figure means you are more accepted in society, because every body shape is beautiful. I believe that, and whether you are skinny or whether you're fat, it's just a size and it means nothing. You are not a failure if you decide to give up on your career or hustle. It's okay to try things out and see if it works for you. Sometimes what you're passionate in does not have to be a career. It can just be your hobby or something you do at the side. So for my experience, a few years back, I wanted to be a makeup artist. So I took up a makeup artist cert, and I started to take on makeup artist jobs at the side. And one thing I realized is that I don't really like putting makeup on people, but I love putting makeup on myself. So I was thinking, should I even make this as a career if I feel this way? During COVID, that's where I reflected on it, and I decided that, okay, I think makeup can just be a hobby of mine. It does not have to be my career. But it took me so long to realize that I don't have to make it a career. And I was so scared about what people would think, because now my latest passion is fitness and health. For me, it's very normal to try things, and if it does not work out, it's okay. Because if you never try, you never know. And at least once you try it, you can move on with life. Don't apologize just for the sake of apologizing. Apologize with intention. We are so used to saying sorry just to escape an argument, or just to brush things off, like, okay, I say I'm sorry. You know, I'm sorry, so let's not talk about it. But by doing that, you're actually just sweeping a problem under the rug. You're not clarifying the issue, you're not talking about it. Everyone has their own timeline. You don't have to follow what your friends are doing just because they're getting married at the age of 25. Doesn't mean that you have to rush and get married at 25. You don't need to put unnecessary pressure on yourself. Marry when you're ready, especially when it's time to have kids. Don't rush it. And don't just have kids for the sake of having it, because they are going to suffer at the end of the day. And don't have kids just because you want them to take care of you when you are older. It's not fair for them. Have kids because you love to nurture, because you love children, and because at the end of the day, your goal is to have a family. There is no certain age to have a kid or to get married. It's your own timeline, and you do you. Don't listen to what other people are telling you. The definition of success is different for everyone. Some may be financially free, some may be just they want to have a family that makes them successful. Some of them just want to be happy, and having a roof over their heads and food on the table makes them successful. It doesn't always have to be just money that makes you successful. Self-reflection is very important. Always know at the back of your mind that we are not right all the time, ladies. And it's okay to admit it. It's always good to have some time alone to reflect on yourself, especially if something fucks up at work or at home with your partner. Don't be too quick to blame the other party, but learn to reflect on yourself, sit with your thoughts, and try to think it through. Like, what could you have done to make things better? 25. In terms of relationship, try to be emotionally independent. This was a mistake that I made when I was younger, but I am fortunate enough that my partner still stayed with me even though I was not emotionally independent. I was very clingy to him until one day he just spoke reality to me and just said that you're not independent, you need to work on it. So I did. It actually kind of bruised my ego a little bit. Don't let your world revolve around your partner too much. This happens especially if you're in a new relationship, so try not to do that too much because it can be toxic at times when you're too clingy with your partner and you see each other every day, every single hour. You need some time alone. You need to find hobbies that you love. You need to find your own friends. Have some me time. It doesn't always have to be with your partner. Be open to learn what your partner's pet peeves or triggers are. Like for example, when I want to confront an issue with my husband, last time I would always start off the conversation with, can we talk? To me, that's okay. If he came to me and he said, can we talk? I'll be fine. I will not be angry. But for him, he goes into defensive mode. He really hates it when I say that. But he never tell me. He himself, I think, does not realize that that's his trigger. I noticed it after I talked to my therapist friend about this. Because of that, I realized and I stopped. And it has made a lot of difference to our conversation. So learn your partner's triggers and pet peeves. And try to avoid it as much as you can, because if you are in his position, you will also not like it, right? Everyone has different boundaries and we need to accept that. For example, some people are okay to have uninvited guests coming into their house without any warning or any call or text. But some people like me cannot deal with that. I'm not okay with surprises. I would appreciate if my friends and family would plan ahead and let me know if they're coming over in advance. No matter how small or big your friends' boundaries or your partner's boundaries are, you have to accept it and also respect their boundaries. We're on advice 28, almost there. Okay. Loving yourself and having self-care days are the best thing you could do for your mental health. And of course, if needed, please seek external help like a therapist instead of like just talking to your friends about your problems. I think it's good to have a therapist and it's very normal. You don't have to think that you're weird or you are sick for finding treatment elsewhere. I think realizing and having awareness that you need help is a very big step forward already. So you need to give yourself a pat on the back for that. You're not alone in this. There are many people out there who have the same issue as you, and there are many people out there who can also help you. It's okay to be upset, to be negative, and to be angry. These are normal emotions, but what is not okay is staying in that space and not moving forward. I've always been a positive person. How I deal with negativity is that I always repel it and I hate to be surrounded by it. But sometimes in certain situations I cannot avoid it. So I've learned to accept things the way they are and try to see the brighter side of things when I come across negativity. Especially when it comes to body image issues. I do have a bad body image, I think most of the time. I let those feelings go through my mind. Okay, I will acknowledge it. After acknowledging it, I'll try to move on from it. I will not stay in there for too long, because from your thoughts, it can turn into actions, and when it turns into actions and it's negative, you might do something to hurt yourself. You don't want to reach to that point. So it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be negative. But always remember not to stay in that space for too long. Seek help or try to talk it out with a friend. And the last advice, when someone comes to you and vents about their problems or issues, it is not a consent for you to offer advice to them unless they ask for it. Honestly, they already know what they need to do, but they just need an outlet to let their feelings out. This helps them to feel better. At the end of the day, it's all about boundaries, guys. I learned it the hard way. So that's pretty much 30 things I would say to my younger self, and maybe 30 things I would say to my friends and family. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was kind of insightful. Do follow my socials right here. I'm more active there. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me. You can follow my YouTube if you want, and turn on the notification if you want to be notified for my next video. Bye!